Replay. Okay, let's do this. Hi, you guys. I'm Coach Nikki. This is my sister Casey. As you can see, I am not in Lake Tahoe today. I am at Casey's house, and I was so excited to have this topic of the art of the mindset of high achievers and athletes because she is the biggest high achiever, and just through my whole entire life has been somebody that I have looked up to as far as really being determined to achieve, not in just one area, but in so many. So just a really quick, and I should have asked you first, like how you wanted me to introduce you, but I'm going to say that all of the things, there's a million things that categorize you as a high achiever, but she, through high school, through high school, and if you guys know, like our upbringing, we had, kind of a rough upbringing, not a lot of money, single mom, that whole thing. But she was actually told by her high school counselor that she shouldn't go to college and maybe that she should be a waitress and that not to worry about like a higher education. Bless that counselor's soul, because that fired up Casey with all of her heart and mind to one, really become educated, and not just in, kind of the basic of like college, but she went and graduated from Cornell, then she went and graduated from Harvard, and we have followed her through many years and had some very successful businesses as well. So it's not just accomplishments in her academics, but it's also her accomplishments in like writing amazing papers and starting businesses and being just a leader. So welcome, Case. Thank you so much for being on with us today. And what we are going to go over is just kind of like a top 10, top 15 things that you can practically do to achieve great success. And I think, as most of us know, achieving great success is not just monetary. It is in like soul filling activities, businesses, education, and all of that. So I wanted to start one with just vision, roadmap, and dream.
Awesome.
I'm going to turn it over.
Okay. Great. Yeah. And listening to Nikki like list accomplishments, it's funny because yes, they are accomplishments and it does feel like I've been successful, but really the reason, it wasn't, I feel like the reason that I have had success in certain areas is because finding that flow state and finding my why has been a huge part of my life. I really get a lot of joy out of learning the certain things that I get joy out of learning. And so, for me, when I find that flow state and I found finding that why for me, it's actually not hard. It makes it to where it's really like easy. Nothing's easy, but it makes it to where I really get a lot of joy out of it, and I find something that I found joy doing. And so doing it for me is not a chore, and really like that's what I think that the goal of today's talk is finding something either in your current job or finding something new, or in your family or in your workouts or whatever it is, that finding something that, gosh, just gives me so much joy. Or I find like that flow state where I'm working hard and time flies by, and so then really it's not like doing things off your checklist, or you're not physically forcing yourself to do things that you really don't enjoy doing. So that's kind of the point of today.
Yay, awesome. So you guys, I want to ask you a question, and this is something that we'll probably ask ourselves over and over our whole entire lives. It's a question that I ask myself like almost daily and weekly is, okay, what is your vision? So high achievers always have goals. High achievers always know what their vision is. Now their vision can change and things morph, but in general, what is your vision? So if you don't mind, if you know your vision, will you type it in if you're on Facebook or if you're here with us on Zoom? But if you know your vision, then that's kind of like your the top of the peak, which we know that there's never really a top of the peak. But then from there, we really need a roadmap, because what we want to do is we want to turn our passion into profit, because it is really important that we make money doing what we love, because money is not something that we hoard or hold. It's something that we share. And so we build bigger businesses, we build families, we build careers, we build passions by being able to collect. And it doesn't always have to have a profit, but what I'm talking about is, can we create a vision that you love to do? And like Casey said, you're not always going to love to do it. There's always things that can be difficult in everything, but get that vision and then create a roadmap, dream really big, and then do what you love. Because when you do what you love, just as Kay said, you get lost in time and you get in this flow state, and that's where you create real change for other people, and being in service.
And so sometimes you can think of it as like, okay, my vision, like in another life, I would have been president of the United States. Like that's what would have been in a different life. But like, okay, so in this life, like I'm not really a schmoozer. I don't really enjoy schmoozing. I don't really enjoy small talk. I don't really enjoy, like, I like deep conversations. I like, like there's things that I'm good at and things that I'm not good at. And so, okay, I can have this vision of I want to be this, but then on the other hand, like what does that entail? And so, we can do a whole nother talk on like finding your vision or finding your why, but really like you might want to go from the top down, but you might also want to go from the bottom up and like, okay, I really actually enjoy learning biology. I get joy out of it. I could sit and do it for hours. And so I can sit on my computer and research and read for 8 hours at a time, and time flies by and I forget
and
to
I could
eat,
not.
I forget. Yeah. So,
Yes.
so like really do my qualifications suit the president? It doesn't really. So like find your vision, but also like what do I enjoy spending most of my time doing? And so that can be from the bottom up. So we could do another talk on like really finding your vision, but I feel like all of these things that Nikki's going to go over today are really are useful with every aspect of your life. Like we were talking about this morning, like parenting and relationships and nutrition and your
being
work
an employee,
and your
being
friends.
an employer, like, all of that. Yeah. So number one, high achievers have a vision and then they create a roadmap. So you have a big goal and then you have lots of mini goals, but continuing to ask yourself, do I love this? Is this my passion? And how many people can I serve? Because big achievement comes in serving a lot of people and being able to give what you love and inspire others. So number two is awareness. And it's really, really important to understand your brain and understand that positivity in your mind and in your body creates growth. And if we don't have a growth mindset, if we're thinking all day long about all the negative things that happen to us, then negativity builds. If you're thinking about your vision, your roadmap, you're thinking like when you're spacing out, notice what's in your mind. If you're like circling the drain on what your significant other did this morning to bother you, you're probably not going to, if you're spending all your time thinking about how your coworkers are not performing in a way that you want them to, how your children are not. So all of this is the opposite of high achievement. So we really need to bring awareness to our thoughts, and you are the leader. You're the boss of your thoughts. You're the leader. And you need to ask yourself, if you guys are on these calls with me a lot, I call my brain Nicole, and all constantly, I'm like, Nicole, I need a better thought. Like, pull it together. I need a better thought. And I'll find myself like, even on a run, I'll just be like, whatever, thinking about like the day or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know, really, if on this run, I could be thinking about my vision. So my vision is to create this Kaya sisterhood that changes communities, that inspires women, and a business that lasts longer than I'm on this earth. So if I'm thinking about ways to serve while I'm doing the mundane, washing the dishes, running, then that is becoming ingrained in me instead of negativity.
Awesome. Yeah, I was thinking too, you know, when you're, I just listened to a podcast yesterday, but they talked about how you, you know, when you're, there's so many people in the world that need things, and there's so many, you know, social issues right now, and there's so many environmental issues, and there's so many things that sometimes it feels overwhelming and daunting, and I don't know where to start, and I don't know how to help. And but they talked about how, you know, really the world is always going to need, and everybody's always going to need. So finding a place where you shine, and finding your, you know, what wakes you up and makes you feel alive, and the world needs more people that feel alive. So finding the thing that wakes you up, and then using that thing for the betterment of people or animals or the environment or whatever that serves you and also your community.
I love that because it does get overwhelming when you think about like all the possibilities and all the people that need you, and really honing that in, and then bringing awareness over and over again. Where's my mind? How am I utilizing my mind to serve and to care for others in a specific way? You know, not being overwhelmed, because overwhelm is also a productivity killer. So number three is really taking responsibility for your life and your circumstance. Very often it's a total natural human feeling and emotion is to blame shift and to be like, oh, I'm not happy because my significant other drives me crazy. I'm not happy because, but as we know, life is really hard, right? Like we can all agree, like life is really hard. We all need help. And that you can't ever expect your life to, or should you want to, ever have a life without obstacles, because that's where we grow. But if you can, and we can together, take 100% responsibility for everything that comes out and inspire your team in a way, your team being your family, your coworkers, your employees, but inspiring people to take that same level of responsibility, and that in our action of taking responsibility for things, it builds confidence and power in us. We're not giving our power away by blame shifting our parents for the way we were raised, for blame shifting our economic status, for blame shifting our relationships with people. So, do you have anything on that?
I'll just say really quick. I
Yeah.
always, ever since Penny was born, I heard it somewhere. I don't know where I heard it, but we call it mommy martyr. And so I always am like, oh, mommy martyr. And so I'm doing everything I can possibly do. And then I feel like, oh, I'm giving too much. And oh, I don't get enough help. Or, oh, like, look at all these things I have to do. And so, you know, part of taking responsibility also is saying, okay, this is what I have space for in my life. And I don't have space to fold and put away the laundry. Like literally, I don't have the space for it. So somebody in the house has to take that responsibility. Or, okay, I can do 2 birthday parties a year. I can't do more than 2 birthday parties. So we're not going to your friend's birthday parties. You pick 2 and that's all we can do. You know, so like things where you know, can fit what can fit into your life and what can't fit in your life, and taking responsibility for that. I think that's something
That's huge. I need to work on that as well. Like I find myself being like a a wife martyr, like where
Mm.
I'll make dinner and then I'll do the dishes and then I find myself doing the dishes and my significant other is like watching TV and I'm like in my head like I can't believe blah blah blah. And so what I instantly do, and this is a new thing for me, I've been married almost 20 years, but this is, a relatively new thing in the last couple of years is making myself ask for what I want. So just like what you said is like, instead of just blame shifting, right? Like, I can't believe that my significant other is not just offering to help.
Mhm.
So that's blame shifting, right? Where I take total responsibility and say, "Hey, can you help me with the dishes? Or will you do the dishes? I made dinner." Woo! And again, this could be a whole nother conversation, right? Of like how to function with other people in your work environment, in your relationships, in sistering, of how to ask for what you want in a way that doesn't rub people wrong, because that's also a talent, but also being brave and asking for what you want. So thanks for that. I think that's like very common. Is we in our head we expect, and okay, and then going back to that, like, hey, you know babe, will you do the dishes because I made dinner? He'll be completely shocked, like, oh yeah, of course, like, and be so grateful that and be so like, oh my gosh, dinner was awesome, I'm so sorry, I just totally spaced, like, just mindlessly he's like, game, 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 and turns it on, and then all of a sudden I ask, he's like, of course, like, so it we also think people know what we're thinking, but they absolutely don't. So take 100% responsibility and ask for what you want.
Awesome.
So this is should probably be on the top, but in order to be a high achiever and in order to be really successful in life, you have to be strong. And it's it it is, if you want to really like have unlimited energy and to be able to work, like, I will never retire. I want to work till the day I die, but I need the energy to do that. And I want to be able to give my services for forever, as long as I'm on the planet. If I'm going to do that, I have to take care of my health. If I feel sick, if I'm eating crappy, if I'm drinking too much, if I'm not exercising, I am not in a position to give, or if I'm not sleeping enough, I'm not in the position to give my full attention, heart, and soul to anyone. So putting yourself, your health, your vitality, and your strength. And sometimes it's like you think about like your health, and that's like, but your strength, like being above normal when it comes to being healthy, and like going above and beyond, giving yourself that self care that builds that strong body and powerful mind.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, Nikki and I talk about that sometimes. Is like when you're running or going for a walk or you're moving your body at a pace and then you give your mind time to think, then you come up with really good ideas, and
Mhm.
like your brain can really start processing when you're not just, focused. And also we kind of passed over one a little bit, but focus and self-discipline, and that kind
Mhm.
of goes along with the strength and vitality. So what,
Mhm.
for me, like focus and discipline, I have to set myself up for success. So I know I am not successful when I work in my home office. I'm not successful. I
Mhm.
have to go to a coffee shop. So I get myself a banana, I get myself a hot tea or coffee, and I sit down, I open my computer, and I have nothing else going on. We listen to this podcast about attention, that every time you get a text message or an email, it takes you 23 minutes to get back to the flow state that you were in before the text or the email. So set yourself up for success to get stuff done, the stuff that's important to you, and put your phone away. Set up your little, whatever, a comfortable space that you feel like you can get work done in. So that was like focus and self-discipline, getting that done. But also, okay, I've done 20 minutes. I need to go for a walk. I have got to like clear my head. And you'd be surprised at the amazing stuff that your brain will come up with when you're actually moving your body and you're getting the blood flow back to your brain, and you're making the commitment to your, really, if you think about people who haven't put their health as a priority versus people who put their health as a priority, you could put two groups of people into generally like more successful, happier, more higher functioning versus less happier, less functioning. So really, like if you set yourself like no matter what, fitness and health are my number one priorities, because everything else will be easier.
Yeah, and you'll give literally 20 or 30 more years to the universe. So like when you're healthy at the, whatever, if we're saying like from 60 to 80 or 40 to 70, there is such a significant difference at the end of our life. Like kind of when we're at that like younger middle age, if you're not really exercising that much, you're not eating that well, you can't really see the difference too much. Like there's like, little like health differences. When you get into the later years of your life, there's a significant difference in people who take care of themselves and people who don't take care of themselves, in what you're able to give as far as like contributing to like service and helping people, the amount of like medications that you're on, your mental health, like all of that. So please, like, it is not selfish to invest in yourself. It is not selfish to, we're always talking about Kaya because that's like, our heart is Kaya, but it could be anything. But find something that makes you want to move your body. Find a group of people that makes you want to eat better. Find a group of people who pushes you, because you do need to be pushed. Like it is self-discipline is important. And sometimes I say this carefully, but sometimes we are too easy on ourselves. Like we're like, I don't think I slept that well. I'm going to hit the snooze and go back to sleep. I had a really rough day. I'm really just not going to work that much today because because I really like deserve this. And being disciplined, and that's okay.
Keep going. Sorry.
It's little Hazel. But being disciplined is one of the most important parts about achieving great success, because it's not easy to get up really early, and it's not easy to like create this different type of success, whatever that success is to you. But when you are like thinking about, okay, I'm going to work out and I'm going to eat healthy, that's not always easy. Find the self-discipline there, and then that self-discipline that you find in taking care of your body and finding strength, that will flow into all the other areas of your life. So, okay, so we are kind of running out of time, but I just wanted to jam through a couple of these really quick, and then I want to just finish with any thoughts that you have, Case. So one, we started with have your vision. Big achievement comes with having goals and having micro goals, doing what you love, and turning that love, that passion, into some type of profit, because money circulates and you can help more people. The more money that you have, you're able to give it. It's like a universal thing. Two is really become aware of your thoughts, because your thoughts create your reality. If you're stuck in a negative mindset, you're going to have a really hard time getting to high levels of achievement and serving a lot of people. So check yourself, make sure that you're doing everything you can to put positivity into the world. Three is take responsibility, 100% responsibility to your life, for your life, and ask for what you want. Empower yourself to have confidence, and you'll get better at asking for things. At first, it might rub people wrong. Like, at first you're not going to be really great at asking somebody for help, but then have awareness of how they reacted to you, and then see if you could form that conversation in a way that, and one of my very favorite books is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And it's just really being aware of like how your presence is affecting other people, because collectively working together, you're definitely going to get and achieve more in life if you can work really well with other people. Focus on self-development, multitasking, being on your phone, trying to do too many things at once gets nothing done effectively. Turn things off, just like Casey said. Turn it off. Turn off your phone. Turn off your email and say, okay, I'm going to stay 100% focused for 20 minutes. We call them power hours, 20 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 20 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 20 minutes on, 15 minutes off, and really strengthen that focus and productivity and self-discipline muscle. And then strength and vitality. You are your number one asset. You are your main focus. When you're healthy, when you're happy, when you're strong, you are better at everything. You're better with your family. You're better with your significant other. You're better as like a coworker. You're better as an employer or an employee. Like when you're happy, you make other people happy. So really focus on that. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to remind you of that little quote. I loved that the world needs people that are more alive. So finding your why, and it's going to take work to find it. And even if you're, like stuck, or even if you're in your same job and you're planning on retiring from that job, finding something that drives you and finding the time, what, when you're doing it, what makes the time fly by, and okay, how can I use this tool that I have and guide it to doing what I really want to be doing every day, or at least 2-3 hours a day that I feel like, okay, this is what really makes me want to keep going. And so how that can serve you, and how that can serve your community or things that you really care about. And so it'll take some time to find it, but it's worth it, because really that's what you'll be doing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's life.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you guys so much. Thanks everybody. Thank you, Kay, so much for being
Yay.
on.